Hi, everyone. Think back to the last time you learned a new skill. Perhaps it was mastering a new programming language, exploring a novel framework, or experimenting with cutting edge technology. And if you're here with us today, I'm willing to bet that continuous learning is an integral part of your professional journey. But let's pause for a moment and reflect on how we tackle the challenges that come with learning something new. It's quite the humbling truth that a lot of us approach learning a new skill with either some bias, preconceived notions, and even a bit of ego. And while these sometimes help fuel our confidence, they can also hinder us. So, what if we were to shift that paradigm and refactor the mind? We're Sandra and Maria Jose. We're developer advocates at Slack, and today we're talking to you about how teams at Slack adopted the beginner's mindset to help us scale the success of our developer community with Slack's next generation platform. To get a better sense about where we are today and how we got here, let's paint a bit of a picture about the history of the Slack API. The Slack API started back in 2015 when we enabled the ability to send messages with webhooks and slash commands. So Slack users could now integrate their external tools directly into Slack. And this led to a bigger opportunity, which was the Slack app directory. This is our ecosystem of ready to install apps built by third-party developers. And it launched originally with 150 apps, and today we have over 2,500. In 2019, we introduced granular bot permissions, a permissions architecture that streamlined how we define Slack apps and prioritize workspace security. And as the Slack platform progressed, we've had to become more adaptable and be in tune with industry trends. Trends like modularity and serverless computing paved the way for the future of the Slack platform. And the creation of the next generation Slack platform is just a testament to how Slack is committed to innovation. While we have certainly leveraged industry trends, our primary driving force has been the invaluable feedback from our developer community. By actively listening to their insights and combining them with our expertise, we've been able to pinpoint and address the pain points faced by developers when building on the Slack app. When building on the Slack platform. So the Slack platform was monolithic, and this essentially meant that all components of an app were tightly interdependent, and this made it difficult to update, scale, and maintain apps. We had a one-size sort of single-use model, which meant that apps were not easily reusable across solutions, use cases, and workspaces. And the platform was also inflexible and rigid, which meant that users could only interact and engage with apps within the given parameters that the developer had defined. And on top of all of this, the needs of our developers and our users were becoming more sophisticated. So something needed to change. Fast forward to today, and behold, we present to you the next generation platform. The next generation platform introduces a new approach to automation that offers several key benefits. Modular automation, so instead of creating large, inflexible solutions, the platform allows for the development of smaller, reusable automation modules that can be easily created and updated over time. Integration with Slack, of course, users can now build their automation strategy directly within Slack, with no need of separate tools or systems. And of course, a focus on end user driven module. The platform empowers end users with no code tools to create their own automated processes within a secure Slack environment.
And of all that, we're really proud to have successfully implemented new features that we believe will greatly benefit our users. And that's why we really focus on the developer experience and center all our efforts around that. And our vision for the onboarding process is one that is transparent, inclusive, and engaging. We believe in being upfront about our limitations of the features, as this was beta after all. We also encourage feedback at every stage of the process because we care about what you think or what our users think to adjust it and improve the process. Our top priority was to create clear and concise and easy to follow documentation, but we didn't stop there. We also recognize that different developers have like different learning styles. So we made a concerted effort to provide a variety of resources. This include sample apps, videos, tutorials, even hackathons, and they were all designed to help our users to get up to speed quickly. So as we work towards this, our ambitious goal of creating a better developer experience, we naturally encounter some difficulties that require us to shift our thinking and approach to the platform. One of the biggest challenges we faced was the constant iteration. So we often had to dismiss content and ideas that we had previously invested time and resources in, and it was really difficult to wrap our heads around new concepts. Another challenge was being our own first user, the developer zero, as we call it. And we needed to understand how to use our own products and become the best user of the platform, even with limited resources. In addition to this, there was limited documentation available, which meant that we had to create our own resources and learn along the way. And this was really time consuming, but it allowed us to gain a deeper understanding of the platform and all its capabilities. And finally, we had to navigate the challenge of teaching and talking about a product that we were still in the process of understanding ourselves. So, how were all these challenges we faced affecting our developers? So during the early stages of our closed beta, we began to see some patterns that they could be potentially detrimental if we didn't address them quickly. And this included low early adoption, breaking changes that could demotivate developers due to constant iteration, incomplete documentation causing frustration, and of course, the lack of resources leading to insufficient working examples. So overcoming these adaptive challenges will prove difficult, but we were collectively motivated to move forward and make this product a success. So to provide professionals with an onboarding experience that suit their needs, we shifted our mindset and refactored the way we approach our own product. Adopting a beginner's mindset, it's not a new concept for developers, as you may already know. So it's likely that you unconsciously do this when learning a new programming language or framework. In our case, adopting a beginner's mindset allows us to build empathy with users, document our experience, and focus on addressing the pain points. And in the next section, we'll go over how the Slack development team implemented a strategy based on the beginner's mindset. And this approach will be also helpful or useful for those of you tackling novel challenges. So let's take a look. Building a Slack app follows the same pattern of learning that developers encountered in any other areas. And it could be a roller coaster of emotions. So from confusion to frustration to excitement and victory, only to be followed by more frustration. So building a Slack app on a product developed by your own company might seem easy, but it's not always the case. The new features we develop require a whole new way of thinking about the platform, which help us to develop empathy for our users. But we didn't stop at empathy. We channeled our frustration into creating a better, less frustrating experience for you. And to achieve this, we documented every step of our journey and identified the pain points, relentlessly seeking feedback. And Sandra will now share with you what we learned from this process.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, well, something we learned quickly was that when embarking on a new learning path, it's important to leave your ego at the door. Adopting a beginner's mindset required us to detach ourselves from our work and embrace the possibility of starting over. It meant being comfortable with the idea of discarding work, even if we've invested time and effort into it. For our team, it meant scrapping complete pieces of content. For engineers, it meant rewriting code. And for PMs, it meant recreating entire roadmaps. Starting from scratch is never easy, but it is an essential part of the beginner's mindset. It's important to remember that the focus is not on your individual skills or how adept you think you are at your job, but it's placing emphasis on serving your audience effectively, and because ultimately the work that you do is for their benefit. Letting go of our egos meant asking for help when we needed it, regardless of our level of experience or length of tenure. There will always be knowledge gaps. In the developer relations organization, for example, the team that MJ and I are both on, we established pods, which were cross functional teams that collaborated to address common challenges. And by combining our diverse expertise, we developed a series of sample apps that have been open source and ready for everyone to use. And we couldn't have done that without letting go of our egos. Embracing change and discomfort. So, change and conflict often are perceived with apprehension because they tend to be associated with uncertainty and discomfort. However, it's important to recognize that these very elements can also be catalysts for innovation. And at Slack, we have a very unique approach to addressing discomfort. We call it hugging the elephant. And it's about openly discussing and confronting issues that make us uneasy and uncomfortable. This philosophy also extends to the moments that precede innovation. And with the next generation platform, we introduced a lot of new features that, we acknowledge might feel a little bit like an elephant in the room. For instance, in the traditional way of creating apps, you would do so entirely via a UI on a web page. However, with the introduction of the next generation platform, app creation and management happen exclusively within the Slack command line interface. And this shift from the unfamiliar made many of us who prefer the traditional way of doing things feel a little bit of resistance at first. But as I started experimenting with the CLI and discovered the many benefits of it, I can say that it's now one of my favorite tools. And of course, be curious. One of the most captivating aspects of being a beginner and adopting a beginner's mindset for a team was the boundless potential for exploration. Curiosity breeds a culture of iteration and experimentation, and our teams took more calculated risks, pushed boundaries, and challenged existing assumptions. Curiosity also played a crucial role in the collaboration and knowledge sharing of our teams. Teams across Slack engaged in meaningful conversations, sought constant feedback, and ran very impactful experiments. And this collaborative spirit had the power to accelerate collective knowledge, and it translated into everyone's work. During the early stages of our beta release, as an example, our product and engineering managers ran an internal hackathon. And all participants were encouraged to get creative and build innovative solutions using platform features. The outcome was a treasure trove of brilliant ideas and valuable feedback that only propelled our platform forward. So, what can we learn from this, and what are the takeaways? First and foremost, of course, is to recognize that the journey of learning is far from linear, and it's characterized by peaks and valleys and triumphs and challenges. And while adopting a beginner's mindset is not necessarily the most easy approach, it has the power to enrich the experience and even make it more enjoyable for everyone. So we transformed frustration into empathy. We harnessed moments of frustration as opportunities to understand our end users better. We embraced humility and started over and anew. We let go of preconceived notions and ego and approach learning with the openness and eagerness of a beginner. Sees change as a catalyst for innovation. Rather than resisting change, we embraced it as a chance to Think creatively and innovate. Remember, always hug the elephant. Cultivate curiosity and experimentation. We fostered an inquisitive spirit and a willingness to explore new ideas and collaborate across teams. So, in summary, learning is a dynamic and evolving journey. And by adopting a beginner's mindset and embracing the principles outlined above, teams at Slack were able to navigate this journey with greater depth, fulfillment, and success.
And as you know, the Slack teams embarking on a transformative journey to understand and fully embrace our own product. And to achieve this, we adopted a beginner's mindset, which required us to challenge our preconceptions and set aside our egos to approach learning with open-minded curiosity. And thanks to this shift in perspective, we were able to create a comprehensive developer learning path that is designed to reduce friction and scale developer success. This approach has empowered us to provide you with the tools and the resources that you need to build successful Slack apps. And we're excited to see what you will create with them. In regards to the adaptive challenges we faced, we acknowledge that early adoption was low during a variety of factors such as constant iteration, incomplete documentation, and insufficient working examples. However, we work hard to overcome these challenges by addressing all learning gaps and presenting tools that supported everyone on their journey. And we made it our mission to provide the resources and the support necessary for all our users to succeed in building modular apps for their organization. And our commitment to addressing these challenges has resulted in the following solutions. So introducing our first resource, a GitHub repository filled with open source sample apps that cover a wide range of use cases and complexity levels. Whether you're just like starting out or looking for advanced examples with GitHub. So these apps inspire and provide you with the tools to build successful Slack apps. And you can find it all on our GitHub repository at github.com/Slack samples. We also recognize that everyone has their unique learning style. So while we previously discussed our new modular architecture through written and spoken means, we understand that a more visual approach might be better suited for some individuals preferring learning language. So which is why we're excited to offer a collection of starter videos that showcase a new modular architecture. And whether you prefer a visual approach or want to engage with our content in a different way, these videos are a helpful resource. And you can find them all on the Slack YouTube channel. While our collection of videos offer informative content and hands-on explanations, we acknowledge that some individuals prefer a more self-paced approach to learning. So for this reason, we are pleased to offer written tutorials that provide step-by-step instructions on how to build modular apps. And our written tutorials allow you to take your time and navigate the content at your own pace, while also providing quick links for more information and more detailed explanations. And you can find them all in apidays.com/tutorials. And of course, no educational content is complete without documentation. So we're happy to say that our modular app documentation is both detailed and thorough. And we organize it into different sections for easy access. And we are committed to keep it up to date and accessible to all levels of experience. So we encourage you to explore our documentation as a helpful resource when building modular apps for your organization. And you have it all available at api.com/automation. I wanted to conclude with this quote. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, and in the expert's mind, there are few. As an invitation to approach things with a beginner's mindset, even as we become more experienced and knowledgeable in a particular area. Because when we are new to something, our mind is open and curious, and we're more likely to see a wide range of possibilities and options for growth and development. So thank you so much for your attention today, and we really look forward to hearing from you through any of our available channels.